The blueprint showed only one location. BO1, hidden beneath the football field. Mina couldn't stop thinking about the message Ethan had whispered before collapsing. Basement. At exactly midnight, she and Ryan climbed over the locked school gate and crossed the empty campus under the cover of darkness. The football field looked exactly the same as it always had. Silent. Peaceful. Normal. But when Ryan pulled back the old maintenance cover, they both froze. The massive steel door marked B01 was already open. Someone had entered before them. From somewhere deep below, a single metallic footstep echoed through the darkness. Then, a man's voice quietly whispered, "I've been waiting for you." Part 1, into Facility B01. The cold night air surrounded Mina and Ryan as they stood beside the football field. The entire campus was silent. No students. No teachers. Only the distant sound of wind moving through the empty bleachers. Ryan unfolded the blueprint once more and pointed to the red circle. "This is it." Mina looked around nervously. If there's really something hidden here, why has nobody ever found it? Ryan gave a faint smile. Maybe someone made sure nobody would. They walked beneath the concrete seating area until they found an old maintenance entrance almost completely hidden by vines. A rusted metal cover rested against the wall. Years of dust covered its surface. Ryan grabbed the handle. "Help me." Together they pulled. The heavy cover scraped across the concrete with a loud metallic groan. Underneath, a narrow staircase disappeared into darkness. At the bottom stood a reinforced steel door. Painted across its surface were faded white letters. B01. Mina felt her heartbeat quicken. This is exactly like the blueprint. Ryan slowly approached the keypad beside the door. The screen was cracked. Most of the buttons no longer worked. The electricity shouldn't even be running. Mina reached into her pocket. She pulled out the old brass key. A17. The strange key seemed far too old for the modern keypad. There has to be a reason Ethan reacted when he saw this. She carefully inserted the key into a small hidden slot beneath the keypad. A loud metallic click echoed through the underground passage. Ryan stepped back. "You've got to be kidding." Dust fell from the ceiling as old mechanical locks disengaged one after another. After several seconds, the massive steel door slowly opened. A rush of cold air escaped from the darkness inside. Neither of them spoke. They exchanged one nervous glance before stepping through the entrance. The hallway beyond was enormous. Concrete walls stretched into the distance. Old fluorescent lights flickered overhead. Some remained dark. Others buzzed faintly. The place smelled of metal, dust, and forgotten history. Ryan looked around in disbelief. This isn't just a basement. It's an entire facility. Rows of numbered rooms lined both sides of the corridor. Some doors stood open. Others remained tightly sealed. Many carried faded warning signs. Authorized personnel only. Restricted access. Level 3 clearance required. Mina slowly touched one of the signs. This place wasn't abandoned overnight. They entered the first room. Inside were overturned desks. Broken computers. Shattered glass covered the floor. Cabinets had been emptied in a hurry. Someone had searched the room long ago. Ryan noticed several deep scratches on the concrete floor. These weren't made by moving furniture. They dragged something heavy. Mina pointed toward the far wall. There, a large whiteboard still hung crookedly. Most of the writing had faded. Only one word remained visible. Aster. The deeper they walked, the stranger the facility became. One room contained shelves filled with student files. Another held medical equipment covered in white sheets. An observation room overlooked a small laboratory through thick reinforced glass. Mina stared through the window. Rows of hospital beds stood perfectly aligned. Each bed had leather restraints attached to the sides. She felt a chill run through her body. This wasn't a school project. Ryan quietly nodded. No. It was an experiment. Suddenly, a faint humming sound echoed through the hallway. Both of them froze. "Did you hear that?" Ryan whispered. Mina nodded. It sounded like electricity. Ryan frowned. "That's impossible. This place should have been shut down years ago." He followed the sound until they reached a security room. Inside, dozens of dusty monitors lined the wall. Almost all of them were black, except one. A single screen flickered weakly. Static filled the display. For just a moment, the image cleared. A camera feed appeared. It showed the hallway where Mina and Ryan had entered the facility. Neither of them was on the screen anymore. Instead, a shadow slowly crossed the camera. Someone else had entered BO1. Ryan immediately switched off his flashlight. "We're not alone." The footsteps came again. Heavy. Metal against concrete. Closer this time. Mina instinctively grabbed Ryan's arm. "What do we do?" Ryan scanned the room. There. A narrow storage closet stood partially open. The two of them slipped inside just seconds before another beam of light swept across the hallway. Someone was searching the facility. Through the small crack in the door, Mina could see only a pair of polished black shoes. The stranger stopped directly outside. Neither Mina nor Ryan dared to breathe. Several long seconds passed. Then, the footsteps continued deeper into the corridor. Only after the sound disappeared did Ryan finally exhale. "Whoever that is. They know this place." Mina looked back toward the dark hallway. For the first time, she realized they hadn't discovered an abandoned secret. They had walked into one that was still alive. Part 2, The Children of Project ASTER. The footsteps faded into the darkness. Ryan waited another full minute before carefully opening the storage closet door. The hallway was empty again. "For now. We have to keep moving," he whispered. "Someone else is down here. We don't have much time." Mina nodded. "Then let's find what my father wanted us to see." Following the emergency signs painted on the walls, they reached another reinforced door. Unlike the others, this one wasn't locked. A faded metal plate beside the entrance read, "Data Archive." Ryan slowly pushed the door open. The room beyond was larger than any they had seen. Rows of tall filing cabinets stretched across the floor. Dust covered almost everything. Old desktop computers sat on long desks, connected to servers that should have stopped working years ago. Yet one machine was different. A tiny green light blinked steadily. Ryan stared in disbelief. "It still has power." Mina looked around. "How is that possible?" "I don't know. But somebody has been maintaining at least part of this place." Ryan sat in front of the computer and pressed the power button. The old monitor flickered. The screen remained black for several seconds. Then, a blue login window appeared. Project ASTER database. Authorized personnel only. Ryan smiled slightly. "My father taught me something useful." He connected a small USB drive to the computer. A progress bar slowly appeared. Bypassing security, 15%, 32%, 67%. Finally, access granted. The screen filled with folders, thousands of digital records, medical reports, psychological evaluations. security logs, research files. Mina felt overwhelmed. This is impossible. Ryan clicked on one folder. Subject registry. Hundreds of names appeared, each followed by a status. Active. Transferred. Removed. Deceased. Mina's hands began shaking. These are students. Ryan slowly scrolled through the list. Birth dates. Student numbers. Photographs. Every record belonged to a child who had attended Westbridge High or the middle school connected to it. This wasn't a one-time experiment. Ryan whispered. It lasted for years. Mina suddenly froze. There. Ryan stopped scrolling. A familiar photograph appeared. Ethan Reed. Status. Active. Subject classification. A17. Mina remembered the brass key inside her pocket. So that's why the key mattered. Ryan opened Ethan's file. Most of the pages had been deleted. Only one sentence remained. Memory reconstruction. Successful. Silence filled the room. Mina could barely breathe. They really changed his memories. Ryan looked toward the dark hallway, and probably not just his. Mina continued searching. If Ethan was a subject, then maybe my father. She typed his name, Daniel Carter. One result appeared, not under student records. Under personnel. Her heart raced. Ryan opened the file. Project ASTER. Senior Research Engineer. Employment status. Missing. Last recorded activity. Classified. Mina stared at the screen. My father worked here? Ryan remained silent. Neither of them knew what to say. Every memory Mina had of her father suddenly felt incomplete. Had he been trying to protect her, or had he helped create Project ASTER? A small folder caught Mina's attention. Its title read, Family Connections. She clicked it. A message appeared. Access denied. Ryan frowned. Encrypted. He tried another method. The loading icon spun. Nothing happened. Then suddenly, the entire monitor flashed bright red. A loud warning echoed through the room. Unauthorized access detected. Ryan's eyes widened. Oh no! At the same instant, the lights throughout Facility B01 came alive. Rows of fluorescent lamps flickered on one after another. The quiet underground complex transformed in seconds. Air ventilation systems roared back to life. Somewhere in the distance, heavy machinery began moving. Mina looked around in horror. What did we do? Ryan pulled the USB drive from the computer. I think we woke the entire system. Above them, old security cameras slowly rotated. One by one, each lens pointed directly toward the archive room. A tiny red light appeared beneath every camera. Recording. Watching. Tracking. The computer monitor switched screens automatically. Instead of documents, it now displayed live security footage. Multiple camera feeds filled the display. Hallway after hallway. Laboratories. Storage rooms. Emergency exits. Every corner of Facility B01. Then one camera zoomed in. It wasn't focused on Mina or Ryan. It was focused on the archive doorway. Someone was standing outside. Only a silhouette was visible. The figure remained completely still. Watching them. Not moving. Not speaking. Ryan slowly whispered, "We need to leave." Before Mina could answer, the archive door began to open, very slowly, with a long metallic creak. Neither of them knew whether to run or hide. Part 3. Someone is still running Project ASTER. The archive door creaked open. Neither Mina nor Ryan moved. The silhouette standing outside remained perfectly still. For several long seconds, no one spoke. Then the figure slowly stepped into the light. It wasn't Principal Kim. It wasn't Ethan. It was an elderly security guard wearing the old Westbridge maintenance uniform. His gray hair was neatly combed. A faded employee badge hung from his jacket. He looked at Mina with tired eyes. "You shouldn't be here." Ryan immediately stepped in front of Mina. "Who are you?" The old man sighed. "My name is Mr. Han. I used to protect this place. Now, I only make sure nobody comes back." Before Ryan could ask another question, a loud electronic voice echoed throughout the facility. "Security breach confirmed. Facility lockdown initiated." Red emergency lights flashed across the ceiling. A heavy metal door slammed shut somewhere behind them. Another followed. Then another. The entire underground complex began sealing itself. Mr. Han's face turned pale. "They restarted the system." Ryan frowned. "Who did?" Mr. Han looked toward one of the cameras. "They did." The security camera slowly turned. Its lens focused directly on them. Then, every monitor inside the archive switched on at once. One face appeared on every screen. Principal Kim. She looked directly into the camera. Unlike the calm principal everyone knew, tonight her expression was cold, completely emotionless. "Mina, I warned you. You should have stayed away." Mina stepped closer to the monitor. "You lied to everyone. You erased Ethan's memories. You used students as experiments." Principal Kim closed her eyes briefly. "When you know the whole truth, you'll understand why." Ryan shook his head. "Then tell us." Before Principal Kim could answer, another voice interrupted her. A man's voice, older, calmer, far more intimidating. "You've already said too much." Principal Kim lowered her head immediately. "Yes, Director." The screen shifted. A shadowy figure stood behind the camera. Only his silhouette was visible. His face remained hidden. He spoke only one sentence. "Bring Subject 5 back." The transmission ended. Every monitor went black. Silence filled the archive. Mina looked at Ryan. "Subject 5. They were talking about me." Mr. Han nodded slowly. "They've been waiting for you. For years." Mina's heartbeat quickened. "What am I?" The old man hesitated. "You were never supposed to remember." Before he could continue, a loud crash echoed from the hallway. Someone was forcing open the emergency door. Mr. Han looked terrified. "They found us. Go." He led Mina and Ryan through a narrow service tunnel hidden behind one of the filing cabinets. The passage was barely wide enough for one person. Dust filled the air. Old pipes lined the walls. As they hurried forward, voices echoed behind them. "They went this way. Search every room." Flashlights swept across the corridor. Ryan looked back. "They're close." The tunnel ended at another laboratory. Unlike the abandoned rooms they had seen before, this one was spotless. The lights were bright. The computers were running. Someone had been working there recently. Medical equipment hummed quietly. A row of refrigerated storage units stood against the wall. Mina slowly approached a large glass display. Inside were dozens of student ID cards. Each card carried the same red symbol, Hey, Aster. Some belonged to students from years ago. Others were recent. Very recent. Ryan picked up a clipboard from the desk. His expression changed immediately. Mina, you need to see this. She took the papers. At the top was a schedule. Project ASTER, Phase 2. Below it, 5 names. Subject 1. Subject 2. Subject 3. Subject 4. Then, Subject 5, Mina Carter. Status. Recovery pending. Mina felt the room spin. They've been expecting me. Suddenly, a hidden speaker crackled. The director's voice filled the laboratory. Welcome back, Mina. You've spent years searching for answers. Now you're standing exactly where your father wanted you to be. Mina looked around desperately. Where are you? The voice ignored the question. Daniel Carter believed the project could save lives. He was wrong. He tried to destroy everything we built. Ryan shouted, "What did you do to him?" For the first time, the director laughed softly. A better question is what he did to Subject 5. Before anyone could react, the laboratory doors unlocked with a loud metallic click. Mr. Hahn's eyes widened. He pointed toward a narrow emergency staircase. Go. I'll slow them down. No, Mina protested. You won't survive. The old man smiled sadly. I stopped being afraid a long time ago. He pushed the emergency door open. Hurry. Ryan grabbed Mina's hand. There was no time to argue. They ran up the staircase as footsteps thundered into the laboratory below. Just before the door closed, Mina looked back. Mr. Hahn stood alone between them and the approaching security team. Then the steel door slammed shut. The sound echoed through the darkness. Neither Mina nor Ryan knew if they would ever see him again. Ending. Subject 5. Ryan and Mina didn't stop running until they reached the top of the emergency staircase. Ryan pushed against the heavy steel exit door with all his strength. It finally burst open. Cold night air rushed into their lungs. They stumbled onto the empty football field. For a few seconds, neither of them spoke. The school looked peaceful again, as if nothing had happened beneath their feet. But both of them knew the truth. An entire underground facility still existed below Westbridge High, and someone was still running it. Ryan looked back toward the hidden entrance beneath the stadium seats. We have to tell the police. Mina slowly shook her head. And say what? That there's a secret laboratory under our school. They'll erase everything before anyone gets there. Ryan couldn't argue. They had already seen how organized Project ASTER was. Someone had protected it for decades. As they walked away from the football field, Mina reached into her pocket. She pulled out the USB drive Ryan had disconnected from the archive computer. Did we copy anything? Ryan plugged the drive into his laptop after they reached his house. The screen flashed. Data recovery. Recovering files, 2%, 18%, 43%. The process stopped. Only one file had survived. Its name was simple, sub05.mp4. Mina and Ryan exchanged nervous glances. Ryan clicked the video. The screen filled with static. Then the picture became clear. A little girl, no older than 5, sat quietly inside a white observation room. She looked frightened. A nurse adjusted several medical sensors on her head. The little girl's face slowly turned toward the camera. Mina stopped breathing. It was her, exactly as she remembered from her childhood photographs. Only, she had never remembered this room. A man wearing a white lab coat stepped into view. His face was partially hidden, but his voice was unmistakable. Daniel Carter, Mina's father. He knelt in front of the little girl. You have to be brave. I'm going to get you out of here. The little Mina whispered, Will they erase my memories again? Daniel closed his eyes. For several painful seconds, he couldn't answer. Finally, he said, Not if I can stop them. The recording suddenly ended. Silence filled Ryan's bedroom. Mina wiped away a tear. My father. He wasn't helping them. Ryan nodded. He was trying to save you, but he failed. Ryan looked at the frozen image on the laptop. I don't think he did. He got you out. But someone made sure you forgot everything. Just then, Ryan's laptop screen suddenly flickered. Neither of them touched the keyboard. The video window closed by itself. A black screen appeared. White letters slowly typed themselves across the monitor. Unauthorized file access detected. The webcam light switched on. Someone was watching them. Then another message appeared. Hello, Subject 5. Mina instinctively closed the laptop. But it was too late. The webcam light remained on for another second before finally turning off. Across town, inside a secure control room hidden beneath Westbridge High, dozens of surveillance monitors displayed live camera feeds. One monitor showed Ryan's bedroom. Another showed Mina leaving the house earlier that night. A third displayed the football field. The director stood silently in front of the screens. Beside him, Principal Kim spoke in a quiet voice. They escaped. The director nodded. I expected they would. Principal Kim looked surprised. You wanted them to find B01? The director smiled for the first time. It was never about stopping Mina. It was about leading her to the next door. He picked up a faded photograph from his desk. It showed 5 young children standing together inside the laboratory. One of them was Mina. Another was Ethan. 3 others remained unidentified. On the back of the photograph, someone had written, Only one subject can complete Phase 2. The director placed the photograph back on the desk. Then he quietly gave his next order. Find the remaining 3 children.